Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. This is Devon with Gaming in Progress, and today we're going to be playing some Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, this is a game I've been kind of meaning to get back to for a little while. Haven't really played it since I got things started on the channel.
Looks like was here.
I was actually planning to play a little bit of the Dead Kings DLC. Shit. However, when I went to download it remotely today, apparently I didn't have the free space, and my system didn't alert me to this. So I got home, getting all ready to play it, and it wasn't on my system. So I freed up some space, and it's installing or downloading right now, and it'll take some time to download and install. And then once it does, I'll do a video on that, and then I'll put that up. Anyway, a couple things I want to talk about. Actually, I had to re-record this video since it didn't record right the first time. But anyway, the first thing I'd like to talk about is some of the controversy surrounding Assassin's Creed Unity in various forms. As many of you may know, Assassin's Creed Unity kind of had a shaky launch, and it received a lot of criticism for it. And it even received criticism before the game officially launched. Could you climb down the ladder, please? Thank you. Oh, down. Okay. Before the game launched, due to the fact that it didn't have a female playable character for the co-op mode. And one thing I want to kind of touch on this is, I'm not gonna lie and say that there shouldn't be a female co-op character, because I mean, yeah, there should. There are females who play this game, as I'm sure everybody can agree with. But one thing you have to understand is that all of the co-op characters in this game are just your Arno. Arno Dorian is a man. That's his established character. And yes, you can customize them. But I mean, if you look at all the customization, it's just different equipment and clothing and stuff, giving you health and stealth stats and stuff like that. But all your co-op character is just your Arno. Now, I think if a lot of people don't exactly realize this, or at least people who haven't played the game don't realize this, because if you watch the world premiere for Assassin's Creed Unity, what you see is you don't actually see. I believe Arno is in it, but you see a bunch of other characters that all look like their own characters, which kind of leads you to believe that yeah, they are their own thing. And that every co-op character is going to have their own element of customization. Which isn't really the case, as you can see, because they're all just Arno. But yeah, and I'm not saying it couldn't happen or that it shouldn't happen, but that's interesting. But it makes kind of makes sense, the fact that there isn't a female.
That was unfortunate.
Oh shit. It kind of makes sense that there isn't a female co-op character, given the fact that all the co-op characters are just Arno. Should I need to run away very, very fast. But yeah, it makes sense to me that there isn't a female co-op character.
The bastards found me as I was trying to get out.
Because I mean, they're all copies of Arno. So, anyway, there's that, and I mean that doesn't hinder the fact that there is a lot of customization in this game, because there is. And who's to say that they couldn't add it, or maybe not that they could, but I mean, it's still a possibility of happening. And you shouldn't let the fact that it doesn't exist yet hinder you from playing what, in my opinion, is one of my favorite games of 2014.
Watching for us. It means we have to move.
Sure, somebody lagged out of the game.
This group for more than a month. They've been
Anyway, shit. The next thing I kind of want to touch on a little bit is the lag. Everybody says, "Oh, the lag was so horrible, and you shouldn't play the game. It's so broken." And well, let me tell you, I've played the game since launch. Seen it updated a bunch of times, and I've never really had any serious issue. I've had a couple instances where the game did lag on me, but it was all in massive crowds, which the crowd mechanics are a new thing in this game. And I mean, there's a little bit of mechanics that kind of need to be worked out still, where you can kind of stick your head a little bit through the walls and shit, but I've seen that with plenty of games, and it never really gets fixed, and people don't really mind, because people don't really mind it that much.
All right,
Shit.
sneaky assassin time. Take out the
Or not.
guards as quietly as you can.
I'll just kill them all. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that my experience was probably any different than others, because I mean, I'm sure it was different than others. I'm sure there were people out there who had it pretty bad. But I didn't, and they patched the game and fixed a lot of the issues, and the game is stable now. Compared to however unstable or stable it was before. And that doesn't stop the fact that it's a very visually pleasing game. The aesthetics are beautiful. Paris is beautiful. And that there's a lot to do, and it's an overall fun game. It's a good story, in my opinion. I forget the name of the female character, Arno's love interest, so to speak. I forget her name because it has been a little while since I played the story. But she was a very strong character, in my opinion. She didn't really listen to what Arno told her to do. She was always bold and outgoing, running off on her own, charging ahead to fight battles that she may or may not have been able to handle. And that's another reason why I'm not as bothered by the fact that there isn't a female co-op character, because there is still a strong female presence in this game, and that's a good thing. I'm all for that. But I'm not for pushing a game to meet my personal views. I mean, if I don't like a game, I'm just not gonna play it. So, and then the next thing I kind of want to talk about is people talk about the combat systems and the parkour systems. Well, let's talk a little bit about that too. The parkour, in my opinion, is got to be the best in any of the Assassin's Creed games, because of the fact that you have the ability to set your running style, whether it's running upwards or downwards or whatever. You can choose this, and you can slide down walls. And I feel like this is something that isn't touched on enough, and it's a very great mechanic that it adds a level of control that wasn't really there before in the previous parkour segments of the Assassin's Creed games. And I use the term segment lightly, because I mean, a lot of the time, unless you're playing Black Flag, you're gonna be getting around on rooftops a lot. But Black Flag is a beauty in its own. And then there's the combat system, and I feel that people are very annoyed with the combat system, partially because there is a little bit of issue with it. It's not maybe as responsive as some would like. I can agree with that. It does need a little bit of tuning. And I feel like part of the other reason people are so annoyed with it is simply the fact that it's something new and they're not used to it. I mean, what people don't realize is they did a lot of new stuff in this game. A lot of stuff that they haven't really done before, and I'm not exactly trying to defend them, but at the same time, they did make quite a risk, and while it hasn't exactly paid off in this, because I mean, there are issues, obviously. People have issues with the game, and they have a right to have issues with the game. I see it paying off in the long run. I see future Assassin's Creed games having a more variety of weapons and combat styles, and I see that as nothing but good.
Good luck.
Because the more ways you can kill somebody, the better. And that's what this game has. It has tons of different weapon types and weapons themselves. Everything from katanas to cutlasses and two-handed swords and axes and maces and rifles and multiple-barreled pistols, which I'm not actually sure was a thing back then. I've been meaning to look it up, but I mean, I could see it being a thing back then. I mean, they were building all kinds of crazy shit during the revolutionary times. So, but overall, to make a long story short, Assassin's Creed Unity is definitely a good game. It's definitely a game worth at least playing. Only you can really decide if you want to buy the game. I'm not going to try and say, go buy this game right away, or you're an idiot or anything like that. I'm happy with the game. I'm glad I got it. But it's definitely something worth at least playing and giving it an honest shot. Because I mean, that's all this can really be expected, is for you to try it. I mean, the way rental services and stuff work nowadays, they're all pretty cheap. So you rent it for a day, you try it, and if you like it, you get it. If you don't, then you turn it back, take it back, and go, okay, well, I'm glad I didn't get this game. Because in my opinion, it's worth at least trying. I think it's a good game. I think you'll enjoy it. I enjoyed it. But yeah, so. And don't let journalists or critics or whatever you want to call them deter you completely from buying a game or trying a game or seeing a game or movie. Do your own research. Take a review, whether it's a YouTuber's review or a written review or whatever. Take it with a grain of salt. That's migration. Take it with a grain of salt, because I mean, nobody can tell you exactly if you're going to like something or not. They can just kind of help give you an idea. That's also why you should also take user reviews with a grain of salt too. What I mean by that is, like, if you look at Metacritic and you look at the user reviews, it may be higher or lower than the critic reviews or whatever. But still, I would still take that with a grain of salt too. Do your own research, see if it's a genre of game you'd like, see if the setting is something you'd enjoy going around in. I personally was actually, when I first heard about Unity, was kind of hoping for more of Black Flag type games on next gen, not Rogue, which I was a little irked about Rogue being last gen only, but I mean, Unity was next gen only, so I can kind of understand. They're kind of wanting to still cater to both people who have upgraded and the people who are still kind of holding out, get every little last bit of last gen use as they can. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, my PlayStation 3 is still technically in my house, not that I use it anymore. But I dug into Unity and read into it and what it was about and where the setting was going to be, and I kind of got behind it, and I pre-ordered it, and I got it, and I was overall happy with it. So yeah, just take it with a grain of salt, and take this video with a grain of salt too, because I mean, only you can decide if you're gonna like it. You can judge it partially off of what you see, and you have to also judge it partially off of your own experience. So Anyway, I hope you guys have